Welcome back, everyone. Let's go ahead and do a comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S22 and the iPhone 13 Pro and see which specific phone you should go and pick up. Now, I will tell you the iPhone 13 Pro is more expensive, so if you want to go for this phone, go for it's the more expensive one, but the Galaxy S22 has a lot of features built in as well, which I'm really happy about. I will leave both these phones linked in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, obviously on the front, there's a little bit of a different setup. The iPhone 13 Pro has a 6.1-inch Super Red XDR OLED panel, and it is a very good display. I've had nothing but great success with this type of panel. It looks very good, and it does have 120 Hz ProMotion, which is so beautiful. You do have the notch up top, which does kind of date it a little bit, but I think it's a very good panel, and I still think it holds up extremely well in 2022. On the Galaxy S22, we have pretty much the same size, 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display, 120 Hz on this panel as well, so it's still a very good panel that holds up extremely well, and I don't really have too much to complain about with this type of panel. Is it perfect? Not really. You do have a higher resolution on the iPhone 13 Pro, but you do have that hole punch display, which when you look at them, I'm kind of used to the notch, but this display definitely looks better because of the hole punch and the lack of pretty much the notch up top, which is kind of annoying a little bit. Now, in terms of thickness and thickness, it's a little bit of a different setup too. The iPhone 13 Pro is a much heavier phone, that is for sure. You do get flat sides on both, and they're almost the same exact thickness, to be honest. I think maybe the 13 Pro, actually I think they're the same. I don't even want to say one is thicker or the other. Basically, I can't even tell which one is thinner or thicker. They're both pretty much the same thing. So pretty much nothing really different there. On the back, we also have pretty much the same exact setup, frosted glass backs with a triple camera setup. Now, the cameras are aligned a little bit differently. It does look like we have much bigger sensors with the LiDAR sensor on the iPhone 13 Pro. I just kind of noticed that. I didn't notice that before, but the Galaxy S22's cameras are still massive for sure. You have wireless charging on both. The Galaxy S22 does have reverse wireless charging, which is always so good to see, and both of them feel premium. Like, I'm feeling them both in the hand. The 13 Pro is definitely much heavier of a phone, but with the heavier size, you are getting, the bigger battery and different things like that. But the S22 has a bigger battery actually than the 13 Pro, which is kind of funny. I don't really get that. But in terms of the outside, that kind of covers it. IP certification on both as well. Now, another big thing is with the software. Typically with iPhones, we would kind of look at these phones and we would be like, oh, these phones are going to last for much longer. They're going to be the longest lasting from an Android, whatever. That is not the case anymore. They're probably going to be lasting around the same time. Maybe the 13 Pro is still going to outbeat the Galaxy S22. But if this thing even lasts for another 5 years, Samsung has just pushed out that they're going to be supporting their phones for 5 years basically. So 4 years of full OS updates and 5 years of security updates. So this phone is going to be lasting for 5 years pretty much, which is so amazing. And having that type of, similarity between them is going to make it a lot harder for some people to pick this phone over this one. The fact that they're kind of lasting around the same time is actually pretty impressive. So no longer is it that, oh, Android will last way less than an iPhone. They're going to be lasting around the same time. So it's harder and harder to kind of, pick apart the differences. Do you like Android? Do you like iOS? It's really up to you. But Samsung has done a really good job when it comes down to the, upgrade in terms of software. Android 12, even though Android 12 isn't the basis of it, Samsung has done a really good job with the software recently. iPhones, on the other hand, with iOS, as a user of an iPhone, I feel like Apple can do a much better job with iPhones in terms of software right now. So Samsung takes the cake in terms of software for sure, but the iPhone will probably still outbeat it in terms of software. Now, let's go and hit on the speed between them. The Galaxy S22 has that new Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset inside of it with 8 GB of RAM, where the iPhone 13 Pro, on the other hand, has that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 GB of RAM. So let's go and see which one is a faster phone between both of these. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background, as you guys can see. So let's get into it. Let's get into their app stores. 3, 2, 1. Kind of forgot what they look like. And definitely the S22, Androids in general do a really good job at just, opening up their app stores. So not really like a crazy big thing that really means too much. But I don't really see one ProMotion display being better than the other one. So the Samsung kind of got stuck there. I'm not really too sure why. Hopping onto this specific application, we have a bunch of third-party apps we can go and open. So let's get into it. Let's get started with something like Netflix, which we have right in here. 3, 2, 1. And Galaxy S22 seem to be a little bit faster there. Scrolling out of these applications, both very smooth, which is always good to see. We can do Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 13 Pro looks to be a little bit faster here. And this was actually a pretty big difference. I was not expecting there to be this big of a difference already. So S22 was a little bit behind, but definitely okay. We get this super outdated design right here. Now let me go and click play on both and see which one is a smoother one, which I don't think there's going to be a difference. It's probably going to be roughly around the same. And yeah, they kind of look around the same. So let's go and hop out of this one. Let's get into the next application, Snake versus Blocks. 3, 2, 1. And almost identically the same on both, so not really that big of a difference here. Getting into some gameplay, I don't think there's going to be that big of a difference either. Getting out of this one, let's get into stack. 3, 2, 1. And we did get, it was a little bit of a different process. This one loaded into the ad first, so very similar, pretty much. I think the S22 was probably a little bit faster there, and I'm already kind of coming up with a consensus, to be honest. I kind of already made up my mind, to be honest. Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. Basically, I think there's going to be a lot of flip-flopping. I don't think one is going to be the consistent faster one. I think there's going to be times that 13 Pro is faster. I think there's going to be times the Galaxy S22 is faster. So as of right now, I'm probably going to side with that probably being the opinion. And with the gameplay and everything, I mean, I don't really think there's going to be that big of a difference either. These are very fast phones with a lot of, power within them. And maybe if I were to do my full speed test and spend, 30 minutes talking about it, possibly there'd be bigger differences. Thank you, 3, 2, 1. But I don't think there's going to be a consistent winner. Like even here, the Galaxy S22 was way faster. Could it be because this game is more optimized on this phone? I highly doubt it, but possibly. I mean, there's already some differences we're seeing, and actually there's a lot more similarity than not. We can do both at 3, 2, 1. And this one did kind of load into it a little bit faster than the iPhone 13 Pro. So I think ultimately I already kind of made up my mind, if I'm being completely honest. I see more similarity than not, which is totally okay. When you have a phone like these, they're both very fast, and I don't think you're going to be noticing that big of a difference. Even the ProMotion display, hopping and sliding between these applications, I'm not really seeing those big of differences. I think it may be a little bit easier to kind of maneuver through the iPhone software a little bit, but both are very fast phones, and I wouldn't really pick up one over the other in terms of speed. So that covers it up there. Now let's go and hit on the cameras. Now, like I mentioned, triple camera setups on both. They all have wide-angle lenses, ultra-wide sensors, and telephoto lenses at pretty much different megapixel counts. However, you do have the ability of shooting 8K videos on something like the Galaxy S22. You only have 4K at 60, which is still good enough on the front and the back. You still have ProRes RAW and all those different types of features within iPhones as well. Now, with the iPhone 13 Pro's camera, this is a very solid lens. You have a lot of capability. You have the ability of zooming in. You have the ability of zooming out a lot as well. And this thing, I mean, this is my main phone I use, and I have a lot of capability with this camera. I love it a lot. You have portrait mode. You just have everything you'd ever want inside of a phone camera, which is so cool. Is it perfect? Like I mentioned, probably not. It doesn't have 8K on the back, but it's still very good, and I really, really like this camera. It's definitely one of the best cameras of last year and this year for sure. Something like the Galaxy S22, this is also a very good lens. I've had nothing but great experiences with this. Again, I don't think it's perfect, but it's really good. Like, it's a very, very good camera. I really don't know which one is better. Possibly the Samsung is a little bit better here and there, possibly the iPhone 13 Pro, but I'm very surprised about the similarities between them. One thing's for sure, you're definitely getting more options and more features and settings on the Galaxy S22 over the iPhone 13 Pro. To be completely honest, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I think something like the iPhone 13 Pro is a very good. I think something like the 13 Pro is beautiful. It's one of the best phones out right now. The Galaxy S22 pretty much gives you the same experience on an Android phone, which is very similar. It has pretty much the same type of features. It just comes in a little bit of a cheaper price tag. And this phone is definitely going to go down in its value in the used market. It's going to be probably like $400 by the end of this year. With the iPhone 13 Pro, I think this is a very premium phone. This phone feels way more premium than the Galaxy S22, which is already very premium. The only things I don't like about it, the notch, I mean, it's kind of outdated now compared to this phone. But other than that, this phone is really good. It's a very good phone. Battery life is amazing and everything. I think it really just depends. Like, the Galaxy S22 is the iPhone 13 Pro of Androids. That's the best way to put it. It's premium. I mean, it's just one of the best Android phones you can pick up. I think the 13 Pros were really, really good too. So it really just depends. Do you like Android or iOS? They're both so similar in so many different ways. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.